Yeah, we got a sad statement on the future of this country. 15-year-olds in the United States made no progress on recent international achievement examinations. In fact, they've actually fallen further in the rankings, down to 31st in math, 24th in science, 21st in reading, of all things. Political prospect editor Kayleigh McEnany joins us now. All right, Kayleigh, who's to blame for this?
Stuart, honestly, I think it's federal government spending that we're using as the remedy. We're just throwing money at the problem. When you look at the numbers, it's pretty startling, Stuart. We spend $15,000 per every student in this country on education. That's more than every single country in the developed world. That's $5,000 more than the UK and Japan, who both beat us in the international ranking that you mentioned. So we're just throwing money at the problem, but clearly the problem isn't a lack of spending. It's the character of the spending. You know, this is not meaningful spending. It's not trickling down to the classroom. It's just federal government regulation, and it should be a state-run issue. Education should belong to the state, and as of No Child Left Behind, it usurped a lot of the power from the states. So to me, that's the biggest problem, is not relegating the issue to the states.
So you'd get rid of the not all of it, but some of the bureaucracy, because that's where the money is flowing, the administrators of these schools and all kinds of people backing them up, the bureaucracy. You'd get rid of that.
Yes.
But you can't,
yes.
Can you? Kayleigh, you can't. You can't do that. I mean, the unions are so firmly entrenched, and there's a big
yes.
vote in favor of those unions, in favor of teachers. I don't think you can get around that.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head, Stuart. You know, these teachers' unions essentially hold the Democratic Party captive, and so Democrats oppose school choice. They oppose the voucher program. This is meaningful reform. These are things that are working. Bobby Jindal down in Louisiana has a great voucher program that injects competition into the system and allows these kids in lower-income communities to go to a private school and have the same opportunities that a lot of us were afforded. But it's the irony of it all, Stuart, is in protecting the teacher unions, President Obama and the Democrats are hurting the very people they claim to want to help, the lower income communities who are being hurt by their shielding of the teacher union. It's pretty despicable.
Charles, come into this. Who's to blame here?
You know, I always start and end with the parents. You know, Kayleigh, I know a lot of parents who are happy when their kids get an A on watered down tests. You know, the kid comes home with a report card that's clearly not reflective of their intelligence or their achievement, but the parents are happy with it, so they're working hand in hand with these bureaucrats, and to be quite honest with the Democrats, they keep voting in.
Yeah, Charles, that's absolutely true. It definitely starts in the home, and we need parents to be there to be the enforcers and to ensure that their kids are on track. And they need to be emboldened by the institution, emboldened by good schools. And, you know, these kids are just stuck in failing schools, failing communities, and then they have teachers, or parents rather, like you said, who are just giving them the thumbs up for these watered down A+ tests. So it's a two-pronged situation. It's the institution and it's the parent.
Well, okay, I'm going to ask you both the same question. How come, if we're in such a mess education-wise in America, how come we are still by far and away the most innovative society on the planet, especially when it comes to technology? That's a contradiction, isn't it, Kayleigh?
It's true that that is a contradiction, but yet I think Americans, one thing that we do have is we're very well-rounded. You know, there's an emphasis on sports, there's an emphasis on other activities, there's an emphasis on entrepreneurship, and all of those things combine to make a very well-rounded, wholesome individual. That being said, the lack of academics, the lack of education, that can have a real effect in generations to come, and if we don't remedy the issue and embolden our schools and continue to create these well-rounded individuals, it's going to hurt in the long run.
See any hope there, Charles, for the future?
Listen, I got to tell you something. We have a false security of talking about this technology stuff. When I go to hospitals and I look at the surgeons, I see, I don't know, maybe it's because I've been to New York and California and the bigger cities, but well over 50% of the top surgeons are either weren't born here or their parents weren't born here. Think about Silicon Valley for a moment. Think about all the companies that are being created right now. About 40% are from people from outside of this country. They're begging, they're lobbying Washington to let them hire more people from outside of this country. So yeah, we've got the tech companies headquartered here, but the people populating them, when I look at annual reports, I'm looking at these names making their way to the top. None of these people were born in America. We have a false security if we think because IBM is located here and Google and all of these companies that somehow is reflective of America. It's not. You go inside those companies and you'll see a disaster. You'll see exactly how bad it is. And that's why this fight over $15 minimum wage is stupid. We need to be getting these kids education, science, technology, math. Get them in Google. Let them start Googles, because I'm telling you, pretty soon we'll look over and the only thing we have is a shell based in America, and everyone working there will be from a different country.